Good evening. I'll be talking about how to maximise the contribution and benefits of using solar energy in the northeast. The background to this is, of course, the two major threats to the world economy and our future, which are the climate change and security of energy supplies. That, together with the rise of the new economic superpowers such as China and India and in future South America and Africa, then we need to be looking at energy sources that will be able to supply our needs long into the future and not depend on ones that are limited. This diagram shows gives an idea of the various resources that are available to us. The transparent box represents the annual solar irradiation to the Earth, and the small pink box in the bottom there is the global energy consumption at the moment. Both the solar energy and the wind resources, as well as some of the other renewable energy sources, are more than able to satisfy the world demands, but we need to develop those. Both solar thermal and solar photovoltaics are of use for our energy supply. Because solar photovoltaics gives electricity, I will concentrate on that in this thing, and I will briefly describe how it works. It's an elegant technology where light, it doesn't have to be direct sunshine, it can be just light from an overcast day will do, is absorbed in a material where electrons are generated and fed out to a load, so we can have that. It's simple, no moving parts, quiet. So how do we implement this? It's expensive at the moment, but it is coming down, and by 2020 it is expected to reach what is called grid parity, so it will be compatible or comparable with other forms of electricity generation. The proposal is to, in the northeast, the most appropriate way to use it would be to build it into buildings to make it part of the fabric, because we're an urban culture. So these are pictures of various ways that you can do this. It doesn't have to stand out when it's planned. It will fit in very easily and can make attractive buildings, depending on your point of view. The first building here is Northumbria's building, which was one of the largest, or was the largest, building integrated system in Northern Europe, which was put in 1995 at Northumbria University. You can have a range of different technologies and different ways of putting it in. My proposal is that the One Northeast have done a study which say that by 2020 the Northeast could have 5% of its electricity produced by solar. That was a relatively conservative, based on conservative assumptions and mainly buildings. There are a number of ways that you can increase this to the levels that I would like to see, which is making the most use of large areas of land that can also do other jobs, such as charging cars. For instance, this structure up here is a canopy for a car park. You can see the cars in there, so that could be combined with solar charging. The people assume that it doesn't work very well in the UK, but a typical domestic house, you have a 1 to 2 kilowatt system, will produce about half the electrical needs of that house. This is the CIS insurance building in Manchester, and this is a railway station in Berlin. Berlin is Germany is the largest market for PV in the world, and it is not much different in terms of irradiation in the UK. Taking part in this possibly the largest generating technology for the future, for the 21st century, there was a study done that showed without nuclear those concentrated solar thermal and solar photovoltaics could make up more than 50% of the energy supply by the end of the century. So why look around in the ground when you've got the energy coming down? My proposed mix is to put about 70% solar, but that includes an assumption that you would be reducing the energy demand, and so the mix would move more towards electricity, which is a higher value energy source, but also there would be less requirement because of energy efficiency and smart use of the energy that we have. Taking part of this to maximise the benefit to the North East would be to build building products that would help us compete internationally in this very large potential market. Thank you.
Thank you. Just take one question.
Hi. Your proposed mix, does that take into account the developments and the efficiencies of the cells themselves? Obviously, at the moment, we're only about 14-ish%. I'm aware that there are cells of 40% efficiency in development.
Yes, it's making assumptions that the costs will come down, the efficiencies will go up in the next 30 years. There are plans, there are sort of well-structured plans for that to happen, and they have consistently been met. And of course, that 1 to 2 kilowatts will need less area in the future because the efficiency will go up. Therefore, we will get more. The One North East study was relatively conservative in what it assumed would happen.